There is a land hidden between Rome and Tuscany where everything is very reasonably priced, but history, tradition, people, really people, are fantastic.
Via, pronti? E questo è un inno al vino.
You can easily buy for what you can get, maybe a garage in Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles, a little piece of paradise with fireplace and with a garden. A lovely place where you grow older or you send your friends and family. Please check us out. The last Sunday of the month, I'm happy to report again, talking about real estate in Tuscia, something to buy, something to show off. And with me, I have my usual sparring partner, Roy Heffner. Roy, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm fine, except for a little sciatica problem.
Yeah. That's a problem. I don't know what Tuscia can do for that.
Not much.
So, Roy, we have a special guest tonight. His name is David Ballard, and he experienced what we are inviting to do to many people, which is, buying, fixing up, and having a little piece of paradise to host friends and family and so forth. So I'm very happy to hear his personal history because, as we said multiple times, your is a little different. Your wife is from there, right?
Right. And I've lived here for 15 years, so my experience is quite different. A lot of people buy a place and they fix it up, but they don't stay, so they don't get integrated into the community. So,
okay, Roy, let's go for David, and let's ask him all the questions we feel like. Ladies and gentlemen, David Ballard. David, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm at A Basin here at. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Giulio, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah, we can.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I'm great. I'm at A Basin here in near Keystone, Colorado, at 13,000 feet. Yeah.
Thank you for giving me a chance to interview you. So, I don't know if you are aware of Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia. It's a place, maybe, I don't know, 5-7 miles far away from Tobia. And Roy has been living there, but tonight we are very curious about you. So can you tell us a little bit of your personal story connected with Tobia?
I'm sorry, Julia, you broke up there.
I'm so sorry. Our connection is not very good. You are in the car, obviously.
What was the question?
So can you tell us your history, how it is connected with Tobia, Italy?
Sure, yeah. So, Julia, I'm 69 years old. I met and fell in love with a Roman in 1985. We were both training at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And I told her, as part of our marriage arrangement in 1986, that at some point in my life, I wanted to be able to live in Italy. And so 5 years ago, we began to make that happen. I bought a small farm in Tobia, and I spend about 7 or 8 months a year in Europe, mainly Tobia, and I spend about 2 months a year here at my home in Keystone, Colorado, and about 3 months a year in Dallas, where my wife's a radiation oncologist.
Wow, what a life!
And so I have a small property in Tobia. I'm a farmer, or as I tell my Italian friends, I'm a contadino finto, or sort of fake farmer. Yeah, I have about 400 olive trees, about 50 fruit trees, 50 nut trees, and have a big vegetable and herb garden. And I love the relationships with people in my community that you described, Julia. Yeah.
So, David, let me ask you, how did you find Tobia?
Yeah. So my wife, she wanted to be somewhere near Rome because she spent her first 27 years in Rome, graduated from medical school at La Sapienza in Rome. And so she found a lawyer in the U.S. who had a brother in Italy who was a lawyer. The brother in Italy closed on real estate deals for people, and as both you and Roy know, there are not multiple listings in Italy. And so, if you want to efficiently interact with the Italian market, you interact with someone like we did. This Italian who's a lawyer, I believe, in California, and he identified 10 properties for us across multiple real estate companies, and we went and visited those 10 in Tuscany, Umbria, and Lazio. And number one on our list was the one in Tobia. We visited that as the 10th property, and we loved it immediately. We made an offer on it that was immediately accepted, and and the rest is history. Yeah.
So let me ask you a strange question. If you are supposed to describe Tobia in one word, which word would you use?
Relationships.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Wow, Roy, that's a surprise. What about you, Roy?
Well, I would agree. Of course, I've been here for 15 years and I have a lot of wonderful relationships with the people in the village. So I'm the only American that's ever been here and probably ever will be here. So I have some status.
So, David, good question for you. Are there any other American in Tobia?
No, definitely not. There's official population 258 people.
Okay, so David, which one day of the year you feel like you have to be in Tobia for sure? Is there a special day?
Well, okay, so I have yet to be in Tobia Viterbo for the feast of Santa Rosa, September 3rd. So I need to do that at some point. But the most important day for me is the day I harvest my olives and press my olives. And as you know, that you can't predict that ahead of time because you don't want there to be rain for about 5 days before the harvest. So and I'm increasingly picking my olives earlier because I like the intensity and the acidity and the fragrance of earlier olive harvest. So so it's I try to make sure I'm there around October 20th to November 1st. Yep.
Did you know all of these things before you moved to Tobia?
No, I mean I grew up farming in Kentucky, so I know a lot about things like tobacco and corn and soybeans, but no, I knew nothing about olives.
So, Roy, same question for you. Do you treat your olive tree the same way?
Well, we don't treat them at all, of course. They're totally organic, but yeah, no, it's we this past couple of years has been in October. It used to be much later. I mean, you can do them until early December, but so David, I have a question. Do you harvest them yourself?
So Roy, I have only 20 older olive trees that are probably 80, 100 years old, and I have about 380 very new trees, 5-year-old trees. So 5-year-old trees, I harvest those all by hand, pick perfect olives,
Yeah,
and then I get some help from folks for the bigger trees.
yeah. I don't know if you've had friends come over to help you harvest, but it's I've had many people come from America because they just love doing it. I could charge money, but they're my friends and relatives. But we always have a great time harvesting the olives. It's really a great treat here in our area where there's millions of olive trees. But each year is quite different.
Yeah.
We've had several years where we had no olives whatsoever, and then a couple of years later we'd have a lot. But it's a lot of fun harvesting olives. It's hard work.
Yeah, yeah. This past year, the olive quality and quantity was just fantastic near where I live. So, but Roy, as you know, one of the challenges with having friends visit to harvest olives is they need to be able to visit over maybe a 2 week interval because again, if you have unexpected rains, you don't want to be harvesting olives until maybe about 4 or 5 days after a significant rain. And so
Right.
I can't predict, I can't even predict maybe 2 months ahead of time exactly what day I'm going to harvest my olives.
The most time that anyone's ever lasted harvesting olives here is 3 days. They didn't go, oh, I didn't realize how hard it was. That was really hard work. Oh my God.
So, David,
Well, you must have a lot more olives than I do. I can get mine
No,
done
we
in
only have
basically
40 trees. We get about
a very
100.
long day.
We get about 100 liters. And
Yeah, great.
we don't need 100 liters, and I have a friend here in the village who sells our excess.
So,
Unfortunately, because there's so much oil in this area, we don't get a lot of money. We get like 10 euros a liter. I mean, if I was in New York, I could sell this for $50 a liter, easy. Easy.
so
Yeah,
David,
My
David, let
daughter
me ask you.
imports wine from Italy to the U.S. Yeah, go ahead, Julia. Yeah.
Okay, so it has been a 5 years run. Any regret? Are you excited still? Are you happy about your choice?
So, Julia, you broke up there. Could you ask the
Oh, I'm
question
sorry.
again?
So you have been in Tobia for 5 years. So are you
Yes.
happy? Do you have any regret? Do you remember something that was very hard? Do you care to share a challenge, or it has been a easy camper life?
No, I love Tobia. I'm fortunate. I'm married to a Roman who's, spent her first 27 years in Italy. So she, uh, she is very good at getting things done. She was able to pay half the list price for a property that an American could never have gotten that price. But what I will say, my wife has said she doesn't want to be a prisoner of our farm in Tobia. So as a Roman, she bought a place in downtown Rome that we're now restoring. So, she would say that Tobia doesn't fully meet her needs as a Roman. I'd say as someone who grew up farming in Kentucky, Tobia in the surrounding environment fully meets my needs.
Good, 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 good. So, do you remember any challenge that was hard to overcome?
Well, I think one challenge. There's a language, right? And so I'm the only American probably within 4 or 5 miles of my property. And the local dialect Viterbese is a little bit difficult for me to understand. My Italian's pretty good. Uh, and I'd say university educated people in Italy can understand my Italian very well. Some of the local folks don't understand my Italian as well as maybe a university educated Italian.
So, David, has been 5 years, so your knowledge is quite significant. Would you recommend to do the same to other Americans?
Oh no, absolutely. If Americans have the flexibility to spend time in Italy, I would highly recommend it. There's obviously a whole lot of details. My wife owns all of our property because she pays 2%. She paid 2% sales tax as a Italian. Probably if Roy owns his, he probably paid 9%. That's what Italians typically pay, um, or I should say non-Italians pay. We are hopefully no one from the Italian IRS is listening, but we're not yet legal and financial residents of Italy. Okay, so
Well, you are in and out, no? In and out, right?
yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. I'm an Irish citizen, so I get to live in Europe as long as I want. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to take too much out of your time. So, is there anything else you want to tell us about Tobia and about your experience?
Well, I just think the people are lovely. One needs to learn Italian to communicate with the people, but Italians are very open and welcoming. I'm fairly fluent in French, and I can tell you that the Italians are much more forgiving of my lapses in Italian than the French are of my lapses in French.
I believe you.
And yeah, yeah. So, and of course this Tuscia and Fiore, I love going to those gatherings because I get to meet more people. There's all sorts of resources near where I live. The 4 miles from where I live, there's a gym that's open from 7:30 a.m. until 10:30 p.m. every Monday through Friday, and about half that time on the weekend. So, there's a lot of resources in Tuscia, and that gym is it's much less expensive than say a gym in Dallas where I spend a lot of time. Yeah.
So, David, you mentioned Tuscia and Fiore. Do you mind if I show a little commercial?
No, that's great.
So, David, I will let you go very soon, but are you going to be in Italy in May?
Julia, that's great because guys, I'm arriving May 8th in
Oh,
Italy from the
perfect.
U.S. and so I'll be able to
Fantastic.
go to all of those Tuscia and Fiore
Fantastic.
activities. Yeah.
David, I look forward to seeing you in Tuscia and Fiore, and I let you go back to your Colorado.
Okay, and Roy, I look forward to meeting you and comparing olive notes, and yeah.
Sure, but I heard that so you're not going to be here on the 1st of May because we have Tuscia and
No, I
Fiore.
arrive on May the 8th.
So you're going to miss the greatest Tuscia and Fiore there is. Our
Actually, Roy is correct.
and our Giulio, has to be kind and say all the villages are great. Our village, this year is 4 days. It puts on a spectacular show. We get thousands of people. Now our village is small, but because we have these large fields, we can park an unlimited number of cars, which most villages cannot. So our village is unbelievable too. So it's too bad you can't make it next year. Make sure you come back in the 1st of May. It's unbelievable. One more question.
Okay.
So when Julia told me you were going to be on, I never heard of Tobia. So I looked it up and there's no information online. But you're right close to San Martino. It's Camino, a town close by. So have you been there?
Yeah. So
So,
San Martino is amazing. As you know, the female pope, Donna Olympia Pamphili, with Borromini, had a papal commission to develop this town, San Martino al Cimino. And what's amazing about it, it has the same shape as Piazza Navona because Borromini was the designer of that. And many people refer to San Martino al Cimino as the first design community in the world, in that the peasants, rather than being in a countryside, everyone lived within the walls of the town. In San Martino, the walls, the basic structure of the town looks just like it did when Donna Olympia Pamphili and Borromini finished their work in the 1660s, 1670s.
oh, great. I'm glad you know it. Well, I have great friends there, and maybe we'll do an episode on them.
Yeah. Roy, I think you're
So I give my extra fruit, Roy, to Sunday Bar, to Maria Domenica, so that she can provide my extra fruit to various people in the community who need food. Yeah.
Oh, great.
That's fantastic. David, thank you so very, very, very much. I will see you in Italy in May.
So about a 1.8 mile walk up the hill from my house. So I do it almost every day. Up the hill, visit Maria Domenica, have a cappuccino, espresso, and take a walk back down.
So you know the great hotel there.
Oh yeah, Julia. I know Luca Belletti, and I know Julia Marchetti. Yeah, sure.
Well, Julia is a great friend of mine, and I'm her English editor when she does articles. And Luca and Julia and I are great friends, so had many great times there. So hope to see you there sometime.
Yeah, very good. Okay.
Okay. David, bye bye. Thank you very, very, very much.
Okay, Julia, are we good?
Yes, we're good.
No questions from it.
No
Yeah.
more questions.
Okay, good. Okay, well, I'll be in touch, and thanks for connecting with me for doing this, and I'm happy to do more of these in the future. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Bye bye, sir. Okay, so Roy, his story it's a little different because his wife is Roman, right? So
As is mine.
so I think he helps a lot, right?
Well, it helps out tremendously. I mean, the biggest problem with Americans coming here is they're Americans. If you don't have, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my Italian wife, and he wouldn't be there if it wasn't for his Italian wife. So that is a big problem. It's a bigger problem than the language. Language. I've been here 15 years. But I'm not fluent in Italian. I've tried, I go ci provo,
So
but if you
let's look for a solution. So do you think the real estate people are up to standard to deal with an American?
real estate people, no, the real estate people here are quite different. I mean, the real estate business in America is very aggressive and it's a big business. Here it's not, and not so much. Like in our village, we have one real estate agent. That's it.
That's it.
So, and the whole process is quite different. But it's not difficult to buy property here. As you know, my son bought a property here a couple of years ago, and this year he's going to buy another property. But real estate agents are quite different. They're not aggressive. They're kind of laid back, and I want to see this house on such and such a date. I don't know.
So should we say that if anybody's interested in buying, whether it's Tobia or Tuscia in general, take it easy, take your time, don't push anybody because it's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. Again, it's not an aggressive. It's a whole different deal. And the property here in Italy is quite different. Property is very important to the families and stuff. So when someone sells a property, it's like a big deal. It's like whereas in America, people turns property. 20% of the population in the United States moves every year. Here it's quite different. So, and sometimes when you buy a property, the property might be owned by several members of the family. The father and mother died, and the four kids got the four pieces of, 25% of the property. Three of them want to sell it, one doesn't. Well, they can't sell it. So,
well, you're right. This is the situation, but at the same time, this could lead to some deal to be made. As I always say, with what you buy a garage, maybe in New York, you can buy a piece of paradise.
No question about the property that my son is currently looking at. The owner died. The son lives in Switzerland. He has no interest in being in Bolsena, none whatsoever. They want $90,000 for it. My son's going to offer $50,000. You probably get it for $75,000. And it's a wonderful place. It's right near the center of town. They'll be able to rent it out on Airbnb, no problem. 100 days a year. So there's no question about the
point of our show is we want to encourage people that are from all over the world to come to Tuscia, mostly because it's really convenient, and once you have a place, you are in Tuscia. Every 2, 3, 4, 5 miles, there is something spectacular to see, to visit, a activity, and so forth. Would you agree with that?
Of course. I'm the biggest fan of Tuscia. I see new stuff every day. I
Yeah,
told
yeah.
I went to Umbria today, which is part of Tuscia, and it's unbelievably spectacular. It's completely different where I live in northern Lazio, and I didn't really want to go because that's my wife's friends. They speak Italian. I'm bored, but the drive up there is just fantastic and really beautiful, spectacularly beautiful. So
all of these 1 hour, 2 hours, how long?
it was an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm in a completely different place. It's completely different from where I live. And that's true. You can drive an hour and 20 minutes in any direction from my village, and it's just fantastic. So the landscapes here are unbelievable.
Well, Americans are used to stay for a long time in the car versus people from Tuscia, usually they stay like 10, 15, 20 minutes. So for somebody for whom, 1 hour, 2 hours is not a big deal, you can go
No.
to Rome, you can go to Florence, you can go to Umbria, you can go to fantastic places.
Now, from my house, you can be in Pisa in 2 hours.
With
Come
the
on.
Leaning Tower and so forth. You're completely correct. You're completely correct. So there is a limit to what we should suggest, meaning, as David says, his wife will feel prisoner in Tobia. Maybe it's too small. What do you say? Is there a size that we should recommend, like at least 1,000 people, at least 5,000? What do you think?
Well, I know why she says that. The reason we're in this village, Village San Giovanni in Tuscia, is that this was my wife's ancestral village. And as she was growing up, she couldn't wait to get the heck out of here. And she married, Rita's father, and they moved to Rome. I've been going to Rome for several weeks for some cataract surgery. I can't stand being in Rome. Okay, I can't stand it. Okay. Now I lived in downtown Chicago and downtown New York City for many years. I can't stand being in these there's millions of cars and scooters and noise and so living in the village where I live, which is 1,300 people. This is what I like. I've done the big city thing. So, but if someone likes the big city and they live in a village like ours, you just get on the train from here and be in Rome in an hour. And so when people come to visit and they, we got to go to Rome, I say, I can show you Rome in a day. Okay. Don't worry about it. And we go, they come back here and everyone loves being here.
Actually, the last consideration I want you to make loud is we are also very, very close to the Fiumicino International Airport. That's a plus.
Yeah, and it's the best airport that I've ever been in.
Really? Oh, that's
Fiumicino. Fiumicino is the greatest airport ever. It's fucking fantastic. Excuse me. It's fantastic. It's easy to get in and out of. It's easy to check in. It's rated the best airport in Europe.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's nice to know.
It's rated the best airport in Europe. It's fantastic. When I pick someone up, there's no hassle whatsoever in picking someone up at the airport or dropping them up. None. It's fantastic.
And it is only 1 hour and 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
1 hour maybe?
1 hour and 20 minutes. Fantastic.
So perfectly located Tuscia. Okay, very good. So with this news that you shared today, that Fiumicino is rated the best airport in Europe.
I've been in a lot of airports. Okay, I lived in New York City and Chicago for many years.
You know your stuff. You know your airports.
All my airports. This is the best.
Fantastic. That's great to know. Okay, Roy, I thank you. And of course, I am about to come to Italy to organize, to plan, to whatever, Tuscia and Fiore. So we will see each other very, very soon in Villa San Giovanni in Tuscia. And
Okay.
I'm going to say goodbye with another little spot about Tuscia and Fiore, because
Okay.
I'm so proud of all of you guys and the exceptional artwork and stuff that you guys put together. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon.
Okay, next month.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Regista, com'è andata oggi?
Bene, benissimo, come sempre. Ci vediamo alla prossima, Giulio.